Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for meeting with me. I'm so excited to do this chat,
Me
clearly, with my
too.
shirt.
Me too. Yes, I love the shirt.
So are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay. So my first question is, where did your love for performing start?
Yeah, so I've always loved just being in front of a crowd in general and performing. So I'm trying to think. When I was younger, I would film videos with my best friend. And then after we were done making these home videos, we would sit everybody down that my mom had over that night, like all her adult friends. And I would sit them down and I'd be like, you're going to watch this performance now. So since I was little, but as far as musical theater goes, high school was really when it kicked into gear for me. So I was in Annie Jr. and I was Pepper, the very mean orphan. And that was it for me. I got the bug.
Amazing. And what was the first show that you watched?
Ooh, Wicked was the first show that I saw. I saw it at the Fox, and that was in seventh grade, and that rocked my world. I was like, "Oh, this is what I want to do." So,
What was the audition process like for Little Mermaid? What drew you to audition?
yeah. So honestly, I said this in another interview as well, that what drew me to audition first was I wanted a job. So I saw the call and it was the night before the videos were due. And I was like, okay, I just got to like squeeze this in. And like Ariel is a dream role. I was in The Little Mermaid in high school. I was Ursula in that production. Crazy. Not my type at all. But so Ariel is my favorite Disney princess, and I was like, it would be super cool to do this production. So I sent in a tape very last minute, and then John, our director, sent me a message and was just like, come in tomorrow for callbacks. And then I went into callbacks, and the rest is history.
What was the rehearsal process like, and how did you develop your own version of The Little Mermaid?
Yeah, so the rehearsal process was something I was very thankful for. And it was a type of rehearsal process I haven't had in a second. So the rehearsal process was very open to collaboration on the director's stand or on the director's side of things, and which I was very thankful for. And we just played around a lot. We just like goofed around, but in like a productive, goofy way. So we tried a lot of different things. We weren't afraid to look stupid, make wrong choices, and it was just a very safe space to do that in. And so that was something I really appreciated about the rehearsal process. And it was long, but it was good, and it all came together. I was just very thankful.
What's your favorite quality of Ariel?
Mm.
Or like which one do you admire the most?
She's super brave. I mean, she literally like was just like, I'm gonna go after what I want, and it's incredibly brave to do that sometimes, especially like changing your whole lifestyle and like taking a chance. Like that, her bravery is something I admire about her. So yeah.
In Area Stage, they I believe that they won an award for Beauty and the Beast,
Yes.
and for the director's style. So what was it like working with him, and what did he encourage you guys to do?
Yeah, I mean, John is the absolute best. He's super fun in his rehearsals, and like I said earlier, he just created such a safe space in the rehearsal process to just like mess around and like just try things. And so working with him was just, I felt very trusted as the actor, which is always a really good feeling to have. And just his approach to the show and the vision he had was something that I immediately agreed with, even since the audition process when he first was talking about it. So that's where we immediately like connected on that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. He was just very open, very honest, which I appreciated, and he expected his actors to be the exact same way, and that's something that I really love in a collaboration like this.
Amazing. And what was it like taking part in immersive theater? How did that change the perspective for you?
It was scary. It was so I've never done immersive theater before. I've also never done anything in the round before. So that was a whole new experience for me. So there were a lot of times like technical things like I'm used to like turning like this, but then I have to like do a full 180 or full 360, I should say, to make sure that everybody can see me. So technical things like that, it was really hard, but the immersive part of it was very, very scary because people are right in your face and then you have to interact with them. And so I'm not used to breaking the fourth wall like that a lot. And so it's a little terrifying when you make eye contact with someone that you're not used to making contact with. But as the shows went on and we got a little more used to it, it became really fun. And especially when I got to connect with the kids is the best part. So their eyes just lit up and they were just like, oh, Ariel. So that was the best. So
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And what was your favorite number to perform?
beyond my wildest dreams. I
Oh,
love Part of Your World. Part of Your World is a great number. It's a classic, but my favorite one by far was Beyond My Wildest Dreams. It's so lively and quirky, and it's really one of the only, well, the first moment in the show, I should say, that you see Ariel like truly like happy and like all her dreams are coming true. And so that's something I really loved playing with, is like just this pure like electric feeling of happiness that you've never had before. So that, yeah, my favorite number for sure.
amazing. And how much time did you have to learn your track? What were the most challenging parts?
Yeah. Okay. So I think we had about a month to learn it, maybe like a month and a week. So I mean, I had known I had the part since February, so I was already learning music and lines before that. So we got there in early July. Yeah, early July is when we got there. So I had known since February. So I had plenty of time to prep. But as far as like tracking goes and like blocking, that was something we learned there. And what was the most difficult part of the track? Probably all the running around I had to do on that stage. That like I one of the things I did to prepare for the role, because John had told us, he was like, look, this is going to be very physical. You may not think it now, but it's going to be extremely physical. So I took that seriously. I got a personal trainer and I had been working out since February consistently. And so I really built up my stamina and I'm so thankful I did, because it really showed. But that was the most difficult part, running around, hopping on boxes like super quickly. That the physical aspect was the hardest for sure.
Oh my gosh. And what would you ask or tell Ariel if you could?
Ooh, that's a great question. What would I ask or tell her? Well, I feel like I've gotten to know her pretty well now. So, but what would I tell her? I would tell her congratulations because she got everything she wanted. Like she has the happiest life, and she got married to her prince so quick. That wedding came together so quick. King Triton really said, "Let's whip this up." But so yeah, I would tell her congratulations. Like she did that. So
Awesome. And did you study musical theater in college?
I did. I did. I have my BFA in musical theater. I went to the Dobbins Conservatory of Theater and Dance in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Loved that school. So they taught me everything I know.
Did you know right away that you wanted to go there? How did you narrow down your school choice?
This is kind of a funny story. It was my last choice. I didn't want to go there at all. So I had done the whole college audition process. So back when I was doing school like auditions, they weren't as many screenings as there are now. And so I didn't have to do that. It was just like a show up one weekend and then just like perform and they tell you whether you're in or not. So every weekend, my parents would drive me to it seems like a new state, a new city, and we would audition. And SEMO was the only one that I got into for musical theater. And so I was devastated because, like, auditioning for schools is one, draining, and it's also just nerve wracking. And, like, you want to find the perfect school. And so when I got into Dobbins, I was just kind of like, I was very upset because it was my last choice and it had beautiful facilities. I just like, I had liked other schools more. But I kind of, when it was the only school that I had gotten into, I was just kind of like, took a look at myself in the mirror on the day that I was supposed to leave for school. And I was like, look, we're not going to be upset about this. Like everything happens for a reason. and there's a reason that you're going to go to this school and you're going to learn some really great stuff. And so I went in with that attitude, and it was the best experience of my entire life. I was definitely meant to be there. I met the love of my life there. And I just have made the best of friends, the best memories. And so I wouldn't have had it any other way. So,
Amazing. And what classes do you think were your favorite, or which ones were you able to incorporate playing the role of Ariel?
ooh, playing the role of Ariel. Well, I mean, all my acting classes for sure, but MTP musical theater performance that we did. I took that with Kit Lavoie. God bless Kit Lavoie. If he ever watches this, I love you, Kit Lavoie. But he pushed me in ways that I could not even explain. So not even like a class necessarily, but he was also my director in Shrek the musical in school, and he flipped my whole world upside down with that show. He really taught me to really like break into the text and like really think about what I'm saying, and just like think about, like, for example, with Fiona, like she was stuck in a tower for so many years in the darkness, and like with and I just like really put myself into that place and take it really seriously. And so I bring that to every character now that I play. So including Ariel, I really had to like tap into like, what does it truly feel like to like feel like nobody understands you? Like feeling like such like an outcast that you have to leave. Like you're like, I can't be here anymore. And so it's things like that. Kit Lavoie. Like I will sing his praises till the cows come home. Like, so he is the best. So
That's awesome. So you played Fiona in Shrek the Musical. What was that experience like?
it was the best. Fiona is like, so I love Ariel and I love Fiona. They're both great princesses. Ariel is my favorite Disney princess, but if I had to choose like a princess just in general, Fiona would probably take the cake because I have never felt more close to a character in my life than Fiona. But Ariel's so sweet. Like she's so much younger than Fiona. That's the thing. So she's a lot more innocent, and so it was fun to like compare the two when I was playing them. But yeah, Fiona's great.
And what was your favorite part about working in Miami?
My favorite part about working in Miami. You know, I loved the weather in Miami, but the people take the cake. The people I met over this contract they were just the best. They made the contract for me. I made some really lifelong friends that I'll never lose them. Like, I mean, I have a friendship bracelet with Scuttle. Like we made, yeah. So like it's they all the people there were a dream to work with. They were so professional, so talented, and so kind. And that was my favorite part about being in Miami.
And you mentioned before your experience like auditioning for schools. So, what is your advice for musical theater students? It can be advice in general or for auditioning for schools.
Yeah, I mean, just trust in the universe, trust that you will end up where you need to be, because you will end up where you need to be. But be yourself too, because when you go into an audition room, they're not looking for perfect, and they're not looking for like a finished product, especially for school. They're looking at someone that they can mold and like help and teach. And so don't feel like you have to be like perfect. Just be you, go in with what you have, be truthful with the material that you're presenting, and just go in and just trust that it will all work out. That is my advice. Don't stress too much about it. I know it's stressful, but just really try to like relax into it. So
Did you have a favorite message or theme from The Little Mermaid?
I feel like in one another interview I said like go after your dreams, like chase after your dreams no matter what. And I think that's probably true because like Ariel is a princess that I feel like a lot of people think that she went after a man. And I think she did go after a man, that she loved and cared about, but I think she also just wanted to be on land before Eric even came into the picture. So I think it can be both. And so I think her dream was a lot bigger than just a romance story. And so that's something I love and adore about her. And so chase after your dreams, no matter what they are. So, yeah,
What was the biggest lesson you learned playing this role? It could be about like technical or personal.
the biggest lesson I learned. I would probably say that my biggest lesson that I learned is it's interesting because I'm not sure I would say learned. I was reminded of a lot of things during this process. So it's been a second since I've played a leading lady, maybe like a year or so. Um, and so I was reminded of a lot to be grateful for and thankful for. Um, and I would notice sometimes in rehearsals when it's like really long days and you're tired and things like that. But then I like would be there hearing all these wonderful people sing and act, and we were in the space and it was just such a lovely community, and I was reminded why I do what I do through this show and the beautiful community that theater is. And so I was just retaught a lesson of why I do what I do, because sometimes I think when you're a professional it's easy to fall into, oh, this is my job, this is what I do for a living, and this is I do A, B, and C and D, and then I'm done with the show and I can go home and sleep. But I think this process truly just it reminded me that theater is something I love. Theater is the reason I live and breathe and do what I want to do, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I think that's what this process was for me.
Amazing. And did you audition with like did you do chemistry reads with Prince Eric's?
Yeah, we did. So we have a funny audition story actually. So there was a big group of Ariels in the callbacks, and they were all to die for. Like any one of them could have been Ariel. And so there were only two Prince Erics though. So I felt bad for them because they had to keep reading back and forth. But Henry, Prince Eric, he and when I went up to read with him, he kind of seemed just like he was just kind of like he was like, oh, like I've just been reading this over and over again. So I wanted to like do something that would kind of like not wake him up, but like just like a new spin on the scene, just to like throw something new at him. So I went up to him because the scene starts, they're supposed to run in together and like have a fun time. Like they just like came from something like fun and they're just like giggling and laughing. And so I went up to him and I was like, do you want to race? And he was like, what? And I was like, do you want to race? And I'll win. And he was like, oh, okay. And so we went to the other side of the room and I said, okay, that's our target over there on the other side. And I was like, and I'm going to beat you. And he was like, oh, okay. And so then we book it and I win, obviously. But then we're laughing. But at this point in the show, she doesn't have a voice. So she's like, but, um, so then we're laughing, we do the scene, and it goes really great. And that was what sold it for John, our director, I think. So that was the chemistry. We were pals from the beginning. So
Such a cool story. And what was your favorite audience reactions?
this one's funny. One night when Prince Eric and Ariel kiss for the first time, there were a lot of kids in the audience in the front row, and they all went, ew!
Oh my gosh.
And so that was really funny to me. So that was probably one of my favorite reactions for sure.
Oh my gosh. Trying not to break character.
Yeah.
Um, what, do you have a dream role after this? Or what's one of your dream roles?
Yeah, I do. So I have a couple. Some of them are for like right now roles that I know I can play right now, and then roles that I'll play hopefully in the future when I'm older. So one right now that I always say, they just started a national tour of Mean Girls. So I would love to be Katie in Mean Girls at some point in my life. So yeah, I would love to play that role. And then down the road, when I'm a little older, I would love to be the baker's wife in Into the Woods. So
Oh my
she's
gosh.
yeah, she's one of I think she's the best written character in musical theater history, personally. Hot take maybe, but I don't think so. But
Did you watch the original company of Mean Girls?
yeah, I did. I did. I saw them on Broadway in 2018. I was doing a show in New York, and I snagged some Wednesday matinee tickets, and I saw the original Broadway cast in its entirety, and life changing. Everyone was so incredible.
Yes,